Right now, I am the Director of Strategic Partnering at the Air Force Research Laboratory. So I've been at the laboratory for about 8 years now, and I went there just about the time that I retired from my active duty career in the United States Air Force. I spent 20 years in the United States Air Force, and I got to fly almost the entire time. So started out as a combat pilot in the F-15 and the F-117. And then again, I had a degree in engineering, and so I always wanted to get into the test pilot world. And so I got accepted into test pilot school after graduation, spent the rest of my career really doing test flying. So test flying the F-15C, F-15E, F-16, F-22, even got to go back to the test pilot school to teach for a few years and flew a couple of other airplanes there. And so overall, a fantastic career from an Air Force perspective. I found that the leadership aspect actually is what really started to call to me too. So pursuing a PhD is a pretty interesting choice for me. I wouldn't say that it was something that I always wanted to do. You know, I consider myself a lifelong learner. I always enjoy learning. I enjoy finding out about new things. And then throughout my career, both on the test pilot side, but also post-retirement, where I spent a lot of time with scientists and engineers in the research laboratory, I met a lot of people who had PhDs and learned about what they went through. Really what called to me was, again, more so the leadership piece. And so in the military, you get an opportunity to lead. I was able to start out with titles like branch chief or flight commander, and eventually a director of operations of a squadron. And finally, for me, a squadron commander, where you are in charge of the entire squadron. And obviously, you know, leadership is messy, right? And you deal with people, and you deal with what is making them work and how to help them get better. And to give them the support and the leadership they needed so that they could get the mission done and take care of them that way. You know, so it's interesting. I have found some similarities from what I learned in my military background and then applying those to the PhD program. Some of the things I learned from being in the military were number one, perseverance, right? And I think anybody will tell you that perseverance in a PhD program is absolutely required because it's a long and grueling process. And you go through different phases. And so the perseverance that I was able to learn, whether it was in basic training or in pilot training or in combat operations, that perseverance comes directly relatable here when it comes to the PhD program itself. I think a second part is the self-discipline piece. And I find here, specifically with Indiana Tech and the Global Leadership PhD, the self-discipline is also a huge part of it. And knowing that you're here because that's what you want, right? Nobody's forced you into this. You want to be here. So that resilience keeps you going and keeps you focused on the ultimate goal of learning and of graduating. So yeah, one of the other neat things that I learned about the Indiana Tech Global Leadership PhD program was that there is a scholarship available for military and veterans. And so it was a nice surprise, and I've really appreciated the fact that Indiana Tech supports our military and veterans the way they do with a very generous scholarship to make sure that the financial aspects of this program are achievable for anyone who wants to attend.